Welcome back to the Digital Connate for the part 2 of using Feather3D to recreate the interior chambers of the Great Pyramid of Giza. So what I'm going to do is look for the top view, double tap to make it straight, and as you can see on the reference below, I have the upper view of the inner chambers and passageways. My first step is to draw a plane on which to draw all the passageways, just the main passageways. Now that I have a plane, I can begin to draw. I'm gonna have to get rid of that same reference in order to begin the passageways from the side. So by tapping on the icon itself twice, you can hide that reference. So I'm going to give it another double tap. And what I'll do is start the lines. Just have to make sure that I have the correct color. And pen size. So this is the descending passage. It's a bit time consuming. So in a little bit I'll speed things up. As you can see, the reference that I used is not quite exactly the same. but I'm using references created with photogrammetry for the interior of the Giza pyramid to get a more accurate view of the interior. I'm starting the ascending passage to the Grand Gallery and the Queen's Chamber. I'm starting with the side view of the Queen's Chamber. I'm starting at the first steps of the Grand Gallery, going up to the King's Chamber. At this point, it's sped up, just in case you couldn't tell. I'm starting with the Grand Gallery. And the entrance of the pyramid. So I have the first profile done. Just making sure I have the chambers separated. Now I'm choosing what lines to reproduce to make to complete the tunnel from one side to the other. So now I turned on the reference to view from above. I'm going to replicate those lines and move them just slightly over. I made a mistake at this point, and I did not use the correct movement tool on the bottom right. So it moved it just slightly off, and I didn't realize it right away. But now I have the tunnels, most of the tunnel area completed. And I'm going to work on doing the same with the Grand Gallery. Actually, it looks like I'm going to extend the chambers themselves. Starting with the King's Chamber. From above, I can see where those chambers actually line up using that reference. So I've copied those lines and I'm moving them again, but again I'm not using the correct movement tool. Now this is the actual way to move it correctly without any deformation and making sure that it's straight across the plane. I'm going to start on the Queen's Chamber. Just moving the main walls and roof. Double tap straightens it. And I forgot to copy those first, so I'm going to go backwards. Copy in the center bottom. double tap to straighten the planes and move straight across. Now the underground passage or chamber. I'm going to select the side walls. Now the reference is in the way, so what I'll have to do is kind of do it by eye and then delete the reference so I can see it better just for a moment, or hide the reference. Check to see that it's in the right place. Now we've got most of the chambers, both the front and back walls. Now I think I'm selecting the Grand Gallery to move. So I'm going to get an upper view and move these lines just slightly out to the left. And now I've copied them and I'm moving another set just slightly out to the right. And those are the basic lines. From this point, I'm going to take a look at what needs to be done to complete the chambers, starting with that small descending passage that disappears into the bedrock. So by copying lines and creating new planes, oops, the wrong size. I was doing it at 15. At this point, I'm going to change separate the outer pyramid group from the inner pyramid lines. Trying a different way, but that way did not work out. So I'll create a new group, select just the inner lines, copy them, delete them from the the outer pyramid group, and paste them into the inner pyramid group. So now I have them separate. I'm going to delete part of unfortunately, I deleted a little bit of the bottom chamber. Gotta fix that with an undo when I go back up. You just have to make sure you don't have anything underneath or it will erase that as well. I'm going to change the name of the group to Inner Pyramid. And now I can shut off the outer pyramid to be able to see the inner pyramid better. So again, this is basically creating planes. It's difficult to zoom in and see what you want. The descending passage, or the descending chamber, the lower chamber, is a different shape completely than the upper chamber, the queen chambers and the king's chamber. It's just bedrock. It doesn't look very straight. Not compared to the queen's and the king's chamber. So this again is just creating planes to draw on. And here you can kind of see how apparent it is that the second line, the whole line work from the original main passageways is just off. It's not straight. See, that's way off. Like one side is higher than the other. But I fix that later. Creating a plane there, I can make the vaulted roof, the point. Let's move on to the king's chamber. You can tell that it's still crooked a little. Move that back over. One thing I should have done more is copying these lines and just moving them over. Now for the vault in the center of the king's chamber. You have to be really careful about selecting the exact lines that you need to bring over. Adding some lines to the Grand Gallery entrance. That center step, or the top step, I'm just going to readjust. Adding another plane. And this is where the descending passageway meets the ascending passageway. Now this is the entrance of the pyramid. I have noticed that there are some areas that are just off, like the dimensions are just off. So I'm going to go through again and just clean that up, make sure everything's even and straight. But at this point, the inner pyramid is complete. Like and subscribe and join me for the next video where I make some adjustments. Thank you.